That's right. It's your average Joes once again, bringing your fantasy thunder just like every week. I'm your host, Oli, on the mic with my main man here, Dave, no Tonyo Allen. He's off the hook for the no Tonyo part, but he said we're going to call him that all year long.
Yeah. I've become accustomed to it. I like it. So
right. Before it was like, man, how could you possibly not want Antonio Brown? But now we let you off the hook because he likes to move furniture around. So, but we still call you No Tonyo because you had him and you traded him, which is crazy still, but that's okay. That's all right. Well, we want to thank everyone, all the listeners this evening for coming back and being with us again another week. Again, guys, we're here to stay. If you listened to last week's show, we had a number of things that we called that would have helped your fantasy week. Look, guys, we do put a lot of time in, a lot of research. We're here for you guys, here to help you out, here to help you dominate your fantasy leagues. Come in and get the free information. We're going to keep coming back week after week. We do a Monday show, we do a Thursday show, and then those video podcasts will be out the following day, so Tuesdays and Fridays. Also, don't forget, please, it'll mean the absolute world to us. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also leave comments. You want to be interactive. You can leave comments here on YouTube. You can go to Instagram, Average Joe's Fantasy Football, _ between each word. Also, catch us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, the Average Joe's Fantasy Football Podcast. We are answering any start and sit questions, trade questions, whatever you have. We are here to help you guys out. Speaking of comments, we have our very first winner of our giveaway, man. They answered the question correctly. Good deal. So, obviously, I don't know the person's name, but we do have your answer there and your handle. We are going to send you email here where you can email us your information, and you will get those absolutely delicious Creamy Ranch habanero chips from hers. And listen, once you get those chips, please do come back and comment. We want a testimonial.
Yes, I need to hear. I need to hear from someone else too. I want to know.
Oh man, they're so good. I think you'll really enjoy it. And once again, I know it's not a signed jersey or anything. We'll get there eventually. But thank you so much for participating. Again, that means the world to us here. So thank you so much. We will have a new question of the week this upcoming Monday on Monday's show. So be on the lookout for that. So you can win the next prize and giveaway that we have. Yeah, man. So we got a big week coming up here, and I think I spoke to you earlier today. And in one of the leagues I'm not doing so well in, I made a trade. I traded Bilal Powell, Devin Funchess, and I finally got rid of Fournette on one of my teams, and I was able to pick up Travis Kelce and Robbie Anderson. What do you think about that trade, man?
You know, man, I love that trade. I think you definitely got the better side of it, especially not knowing when Fournette's going to get back.
Right.
And you don't have the, being 1-5, you don't have the leniency as you do as a 6-0, 5-1 team. So you gotta make the moves. Can't really wait on Fournette. And Travis Kelce's number 1, number 2 tight end right now.
And
that position's so position's so muddled.
Right.
You gotta get that defined player, and you didn't really lose much, especially with Greg Olsen coming back. I feel like Funchess is, his production will go down, and so I love it.
Yeah, Olsen is definitely one of Cam's favorite targets, but I said I wasn't doing good in that league. I didn't mean for you to tell everybody I was 1-5, man. I'm not doing good.
let's just say I put that out there because of all the in case you guys all the times he talks about his trade to me where he got
Melvin Gordon,
got all this stuff. Yeah. So we'll call it even.
Okay. Yeah, he put me on Front Street. That's okay. I appreciate it. But listen, in the league that he's the commissioner in, I'm 5-1. I got the exact opposite record. So, you win some, you lose some. That league is a league that I picked up. Fournette is my first round pick, and then I invested heavily in Chris Hogan and Marquise Goodwin when they were like, just shooting up draft boards, supposed to be really good, at least wide receiver twos, and neither one has panned out so far. Even though Goodwin had a pretty decent game last week, doesn't kind of make up for the first 5 weeks. So, not doing good in that league, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here with Kelsey. I'm trying to make another trade. I'm not sure if it's going to go through in that same league because I had a really deep bench. Trying to send Kenyon Drake, Carlos Hyde, and Dalton over for David Johnson. And if I'm able to do that, I'll be able to pair David Johnson with what's the running back's name from New England, the pass catcher?
James White.
James White, yeah. Be able to pair him with James White.
Yeah.
And then my receivers, I have Michael Thomas, and then obviously I have Kelsey tight end. So might be able to turn that season around.
Shaping up good.
Yeah, if I can do it. I'm not sure the guy hasn't accepted the trade. We'll see. Anyhow, enough about that trade. We got to move on. We got football tonight, man. Arizona and Denver. We're not really going to talk too much about that. We'll get into the next upcoming Thursday night game on this coming show on Monday. However, Week 7 has been brutal on injuries, man. You definitely got some news and notes for you guys tonight, but it's it's pretty bad. But on top of that, on top of the preview, Week 7 preview, the news and notes, we're going to do some starts and sit of the week and one under the radar move of the week you guys want to pay attention to. So we'll do that. Let's go ahead and jump in, see if we can keep this under an hour, my friend. Let's go ahead and do the Week 7 preview and start with the Carolina Panthers and the Eagles. This may be kind of a tough game on both teams. Both defenses are pretty decent at the very least. What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, absolutely what you just said. I actually wrote down in my notes next to it, tough call. I said a lot of the games we're going to talk about tonight are tough to me. The way I'm calling this is the guys you expect to play well in this game are going to play well. Like, this isn't going to be one of those games where where I feel like you can kind of, expect, well, maybe Wendell Smallwood will go in and do great, or maybe Nelson Aguilar will go off. I think you're looking more towards your Christian McCaffrey, your Alshon Jeffrey, who's been getting a lot more targets lately, your Cam Newton, things like that. In all, for me, if I don't have one of those guys, I'm probably looking in another direction just based off of this matchup. I think it's going to be, really good defensive game, not too much scoring. But I do think I like both of the tight ends in this game. I think both tight ends are great plays.
Okay. If you had to give a point total on this game, what do you have? Over, under 50, 55, or?
Oh, no. I'm looking more 40.
40?
I'd say around 40.
So 21, 20, something like that?
Yeah, okay. Something around there.
Yeah. I could see that being the case. Eagles came into the year with high expectations for their defense. They haven't quite lived up to it, but again, I mean, there's one of those things that can come out and they can start living up to expectations at any point in time. Carolina is always tough on defense. However, Philly has not been all that good against the run. You should really look out for CMC here. He's been averaging 4.7-ish yards per carry on the season, and Philadelphia has been giving up some big games to the running back. So I expect a lot out of CMC. I'm not looking for too much out of Carolina's pass catchers, though. Do you see Devin Funches or anybody having a good game there?
Nah, like I said, I'm as far as receivers go, and that's really on both sides. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey's targets have increased, but for me, I'm not looking at receivers really this game for Carolina or Philly. I'm looking elsewhere. I believe there's much juicier matchups this week that you can look towards for your fantasy points.
If you had to start one between the two quarterbacks, Cam Newton and Carson Wentz, which one would you be willing to roll out there first? Who would be your pick?
I'm gonna go with Cam. I feel like
good call.
those.
I thought as a home, this
it-
is your account. Philadelphia is your team. I just knew you were going to go with the home guy. But okay, go ahead and explain.
Yeah. I try to stay unbiased for you guys. But yeah, I think if Wentz can run too, but I see Cam Newton being more set up to take off if the defense breaks down. He does those little dump passes to CMC that are still going to be points for him. They have designed runs for him in the end zone. So yeah, I like Cam on the ground more, I guess, is what it comes to.
Good call. Yeah, he's doing his homework, folks. I was getting ready to say the same thing. I expect a decent game on the ground for Cam Newton. The Eagles haven't played that many mobile quarterbacks this year, but when they did play one, Marcus Mariota, he went for 46 yards, which is not a huge number, but he ran 10 times and had a touchdown against them. So Cam Newton, to me, is a little bit more of a prolific runner than Marcus Mariota, so I would expect him to be able to give you a solid floor, not only maybe a passing touchdown or two, but also some decent rushing yards. Good deal. So start your CMC, Cam Newton. I'm not sure. What do you feel about the Eagles running backs here, man? I don't know. Corey Clement going to be a beast here? What do we got?
That's another. If you have to start one of the guys for the Eagles, obviously we're going to go with Corey Clement. He's the better player. They set him up better.
Yeah.
But I don't see huge fantasy games for either of the running backs this week. Like we said, Carolina's defense is pretty good, and their D-line is very good as well. Kawan Short's still there. I mean, they're a solid defense all around.
Yeah.
So, I don't, like I said, I don't think it's going to be very high scoring. I don't think there's going to be fantasy points galore in this game. I'm avoiding
You said something interesting. I think we spoke about last week. They just seem to set Corey Clement up better in the game where you and I both started Wendell Smallwood, in that game where Ajayi had just gone out and Clement was coming off of an injury. When you watch the game flow and watch the plays they gave Corey Clement versus Wendell Smallwood, it just seemed like they smashed Wendell Smallwood into the back of the line and gave Corey Clement all the stretch plays, all the plays going to the outside where you get open lanes and things of that nature, and he was able to gash and make some cuts. And I don't know if that was just maybe that was the call. Maybe they wanted, Smallwood to fill that Ajayi role and run up the middle more and then try to stretch him out with Corey Clement. Maybe Clement's a little faster. I don't know. It's a weird situation because we've seen Wendell Smallwood produce before, and he had all the opportunity in the world last week, and it just didn't pan out. So it'll be interesting to see how they do the split there. I would be starting Clement over Smallwood at this point in time, and again, like you said, I'm not too excited about that. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, just real quick, just something to note in that game. Jason Peters and Lane Johnson, two of the Eagles' big offensive linemen, are questionable.
Right, yeah.
Jason Peters having biceps. He looks like he's going to be ready to go. Lane Johnson's still questionable, though, so that's just something to watch as far as if you're picking whether you want to roll with Carson Wentz or not. Just something to look at.
Yeah, it sounded like they both were pushing to play, so I didn't even think to mention it. I think they're both pushing to play here, but we'll see how that works out. Hopefully neither one of those guys have a setback. All right, Pats and Chicago. Now, this just seems to be like an offense versus a defense game, but for some reason I just feel in my stomach here, in my gut, that the Pats are going to win this easily. Do you feel the same way?
Khalil Mack. That's my go-to to answer that question.
Uh-huh.
If Mack. Mack is one of those guys like Marshawn Lynch. Like, if I'm hurt, I'm a play. So if Mack goes out there and he does play, that gives them a better chance. But it also, I want to know, is he playing healthy? Like, is he playing to play, or is he playing because he's feeling good? So if he doesn't play, I expect a complete shootout. Or not a shootout. I expect a complete destroyed by the Patriots. Right. I do feel like Khalil Mack is that player for Chicago's defense. I think he has that much impact to where if he's sitting out or not, 100%, it completely kills them.
He'll be that player for a lot of teams.
No, he definitely would be. One team in particular.
For real, we're going to talk about them. They're not having a great season. I don't know if we want to kick them while they're down.
We'll mention those guys. But yeah, if one thing I wanted to mention, if Khalil Mack does play, the Patriots haven't faced a pass rush like this except for the Jaguars, where they lost 31-20. That was the last time and now I will say their offense is definitly better than it was when they played the Jaguars.
They're coming around.
They got Josh now. Yeah, they're getting it together. But just the effect of the pass rush is still there, while the Bears are giving up less than 90 yards a game rushing this season, and the Patriots lately have been gushing it. They've been loving to turn around and hand that ball to Tony. Yeah. So with those things, I do still expect the Patriots to win this game. It's Brady, it's the Patriots. His offense is evolving. They're looking to form. But I expect it to be a tough one.
Yeah. What I basically wrote down here was the Patriots' offense is on a roll. And for those of you who don't know, Khalil Mack is dealing with an ankle injury, and obviously for a pass rusher that can be really tough, a really major injury for him. Not so much in the way of missing time or missing multiple weeks or anything, but if you can't push off right, you can't get that acceleration, you can't get that speed or whatever, that can significantly affect the way that he plays and his effectiveness in the game. But yeah, the Pats offense is on a roll. And one thing that we've known about Belichick and Tom Brady over the years, they are masters to adjusting to who they're playing. So if there's going to be a major pass rush, you'll see the ball get out quickly. I think James White may have a huge game if Khalil Mack definitely, it certainly is playing in his full health. You may see a huge game out of James White, where they just get the ball quickly out of Tom Brady's hands.
Absolutely.
See a huge game out of Edelman. I've been saying that actually for weeks, but you may see a huge game out of him. But again, they are bringing Josh Gordon along. He's getting more and more snaps. So this offense is rolling, and I expect them to probably win this game pretty easily. What I would say, though, is they haven't been great against elite-level tight ends. That being the Patriots. Do you think this is the game that Burton finally now he hasn't had bad games. He's had a touchdown. He's kind of been touchdown dependent, but he has given you 10, 12 points a week. Do you see this as a game where he may just explode?
I would hope so.
And A-Rob wasn't practicing today. I'm not sure if he's. The feeling is he's going to play, but if A-Rob is out, who do they go to?
Right. Well, I wrote down here, I think we finally get a Jordan Howard game, a little more. But as far as the passing, I don't know. I don't want to say we see an uptick in Taylor Gabriel. I don't want to say that they go to Anthony Miller. I think they have to look to Trey Burton. I think this was one of the big reasons they brought him in, not because they were expecting an injury, but just because, we have another guy that is in the tight end position, but he can do so much. We can use him in so many different ways. I think you can look there, especially the way the tight ends are. We just mentioned in the last game, the tight end position is difficult. Right now. So
tough.
Yeah, so I think Trey Burton could be a good sneaky play. I think he could be. It's just Matt Nagy's offense is what the issue is with Burton. They do a lot of different things, a lot of different moving. If you paid attention to their first game, for the listeners, the first half, it was a whole lot of let's outsmart, let's outthink, let's do all this stuff. I think we'll see a lot of that again against the Patriots. I feel like it's going to be a lot of let's do a lot of trickery, all this stuff. So Trey Burton might start off really great and might end up dying down. It depends on it, and like you said, it depends on what happens with Allen Robinson as the week goes.
Yeah. I think really want to get your you really want to get your Edelman on the field. Last week, Chicago against Amendola and Albert Wilson, they did not have a good game against these two. Again, Amendola had 8 receptions. Wilson did what he did. He did it to me in a couple of different leagues, as a matter of fact. So they weren't so great against slot receivers. I would definitely be willing. And then also, I look back a little further, Deshaun Jackson and Adam Humphries both had decent games against Chicago. So I would definitely be willing to roll out Edelman and whoever else might be in slot, James White. They kind of throw him out there in kind of that role sometimes. So look out for that. Yeah, but we expect Pats to win this one. I ought to be rolling just about everybody you can on the Pats side, even though there will be a pretty good pass defense, rush defense from Chicago. They are great against running backs, but I still put James White out there and your receivers. Not so much Gordon just yet. I want to see another week of that before I'll put Gordon out there. Yeah.
Now they did. Bill Belichick did say that Gordon is coming along in the offense. Like, I agree with you. We want to see another week, but just for the people that are holding on to Josh Gordon, do be encouraged. Bill Belichick, he's not the type to necessarily talk up any of his players, but he did say Josh Gordon is coming along in the offense. He's moved up the depth chart. That's definitely
from Bill Belichick. That's almost like saying he's a superstar. Like, oh, he's coming. That's like A+.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Especially to get that many words out of him. That was a good
Seriously.
day. That was a good day.
Well, he's coming along. That means he's doing great, folks. Good deal. All right. Cool beans. Let's go ahead and talk about the Saints and Baltimore. Another seemingly defense versus offensive game here. But
absolutely,
what's kind of crazy is, and if you look back on the game logs, Flacco has been slinging the ball around here all year long. 56 pass attempts in week 5, 42 the other week, and I think the 56 came versus Cleveland, or the 42 came versus Cleveland, and it was a 12-9 game. Like, they don't want to run the ball. What's going on here?
I don't know. Maybe they're actually doing what a lot of teams say they'll do and they don't do. When a team usually goes out and acquires different assets or different receivers, or the Bears, for example, went out and got Trey Burton. Haven't seen too much of him. You know what I mean? Like, these certain teams, and the Ravens went out. They went and got Willie Snead. They went and got Michael Crabtree. They went and got John Brown. And so I think they are going in with the mindset of, we got these people. Let's utilize them. Let's do what we have to do. And Joe Flacco has been impressive to say the least. I don't know. I've heard commentators say them bringing in Lamar Jackson has lit a fire under Joe Flacco, and that may be true. I mean, because he's playing much better.
Yeah, much better from last year compared to some other fantasy quarterbacks this year. He's more middle of the road. But, I mean, they're just throwing the ball so very much. And it's kind of surprising to me because they have a really good defense. And don't get me wrong, you don't want to rest on the defense and just say, hey, we're going to, like Jacksonville, and you're not able to get things sparked on offense or with the passing game. But you have a couple of decent running backs there, and Alex Collins and Buck Allen. And Buck Allen is your passing running back. And he's kind of disappeared in the last few games. I'm not sure what is happening there.
You know what? And first of all, I hate that. I hate that because I've been saying it from the first episode. I like Buck Allen. Right. I like the guy, and he was showing. I mean, he shows promise. But the thing that I knew this about Baltimore, they for whatever reason don't like him because they had. When Kenneth Dixon was there, Buck Allen was almost cut. They almost didn't even keep him. They were just going to have Kenneth Dixon and Alex Collins and I guess the Gus Edwards guy. Then Kenneth Dixon got hurt, so they brought Buck Allen up. Now they're starting to phase him out with Gus Edwards, and I haven't seen a reason why to phase Buck Allen out.
Well, Buck Allen, he's not a run up the middle kind of a running back. He is more of a pass, but he's been effective as a pass catching back. And it seemed to have been a pretty good relationship or working relationship between him and Alex Collins. And I don't know, it seemed like things have shifted here recently where they're not utilizing them that much anymore. I don't feel good about them in this game. And the reason being,
Yeah,
obviously, the Saints
yeah.
can score the football. Unfortunately, in the league that I have Alex Collins in, I can't afford to sit him. I just don't have anybody else to put in. But I don't feel great about him in this game at all. On the other side of the ball, the Saints, they have an injury here. If you haven't heard, Ted Ginn went to IR. He
Yeah.
wasn't blowing the fantasy community out this year, but he's an integral part of the offense. Who benefits from this? If you want to call someone benefited from an injury going on IR, is it going to be more Cam Meredith or you see Traquan Smith coming up?
I've got to go Traquan, and that's based off of Drew Brees' last game when he broke the record and it was great. Traquan was a part of two of those huge plays. And
Okay.
the thing was, people were saying, don't overreact yet. He's just in because Ted Ginn is out. Well, Ted Ginn is done. So it might be time to give Traquan. At the same time, though, I've been a Cam Meredith believer. I actually was drafting him probably higher than most people earlier in the season. That he's another guy, and he's been steadily seeing more play time and more targets. But I do think this bodes well or better for Traquan.
Okay.
I think Traquan is gonna see the benefits more.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I think there might be a little bit of an uptick as well because I believe when Ginn was out the last game, Meredith had himself a decent game as well. So we'll probably see those two take a step forward. This also is going to be a John Brown and Michael Crabtree game. I'd be more than willing to roll those two guys this week.
Absolutely. I have a hot take for you.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
I think John Brown will end the game with more fantasy points than Michael Thomas this week.
Woo. Okay.
That's
really hot considering Ted Ginn's not going to be there.
Right. And I actually wrote this down before the Ted Ginn news. Then when I found it out, I thought about it and I said, you know what? No, I'm still rocking with it. I think John Brown is in for a huge game, especially I know Lattimore is probably going to play. They got Ken Conley, them boys, but I just think John Brown is going to continue what he's been doing. I think Joe Flacco's still going to hit him deep. Okay. I like John a lot.
I like that call. I mean, I had that written down myself here that John Brown and both Crabtree probably have a big day, but again, you have to keep up with the Saints one way or another. Saints defense has not been up to snuff this year. Definitely took a step back from last year. So, in last game, I believe John Brown had 14 targets. Didn't catch a lot, but 14 targets is a monster target day.
Right.
If we get anywhere close to that this time, you're probably going to see a big number out of John Brown this week. So definitely, he might be a start of the week. I may need to switch that. I like.
All right. Yeah. Exactly. Are you more excited? Are you more excited about Drew Brees? Here's the question. Would you start Drew Brees or would you start a guy like Andrew Luck this week if you had both of them? Andrew Luck against the Bills or Brees against these Ravens?
I think I will go with Luck against the Bills. Just because the Bills have been doing a little bit better on defense, but as we already know, they lost Josh Allen, who wasn't doing all that great, but whatever he was doing was just enough for the Bills to get over the hump in some of these games and stay competitive. They bring Derek Anderson basically off of the street. I mean, he's a veteran. He's one of those guys, journeyman, been around, but I don't know if he even knows the offense. I mean, and the Colts, the Colts running game has really been non-existent. I mean, Mama Mack had an okay day last week, but we know this team's going to go as far as Andrew Luck goes. And I think they're going to continue to throw the ball, and I still see him getting about 3 touchdowns. I mean, certainly Drew Brees can do the same thing. I don't know. It's pretty close. I mean, Baltimore has a really good pass defense, so I'd probably lean more towards the easier matchup, which is against the Bills.
Absolutely. Yeah, the only reason I brought that up is just for the listeners who have Drew Brees, and Drew Brees has been one of those guys where you are starting no matter what.
Oh yeah, of course.
I just kind of wanted to put that in their head, like this week might be the week that if you are looking at a quarterback that has a better matchup, this might be the week where it might be okay to sit Drew Brees, because some things I wrote down, Baltimore has given up less than 300 total yards per game. And just to give more into that stat, they did play Cincinnati, and they had Joe Mixon at the time, and they did play Pittsburgh. Those are two pretty good offenses.
That's
also,
cool,
the
man.
Bengals are
That's a great stat.
Yeah.
Considering those
and
two
the Bengals
teams,
are the only. Yeah, right. And the Bengals are the only team this year to score more than 14 points on the Ravens.
Wow.
So they're doing something right. So this might be the game that you sit Drew Brees. It might be the game that Drew Brees shows them, hey, I'm Drew Brees.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, I didn't even know they were doing. I knew they were doing well. I didn't know they were doing that great. So yeah, maybe actually be a tough day, and especially since you consider now they have Mark Ingram back, and you're going to get some more yards on the ground out of the Saints. Do you see Mark Ingram's return kind of having that effect where the Saints may slow it down a little bit? Hey, we don't have to put everything on Drew Brees' arm, so to speak, and we can actually win this game on the ground with Kamara and Engram. And also, you may see that uptick in defense now that you have more of a ground game. Do you see them going back to kind of where they were last year, or do you think that this is still on Brees and he's still going to continue to do what he's been doing?
No, I think exactly what you just said. I think we are going to see more of last year. I think it is going to be more of, pick your poison. When Ingram's in, we're going to bruise you. When Kamara's in, we're going to beat you around the corner.
Right.
I've been kind of thinking to myself, I didn't want to really say the things. I have a couple of people in my league that listen to the podcast. But I've been thinking, as soon as Ingram comes back, Michael Thomas' production is going to go down. And it made me happy when he was doing it.
Bad juju.
Because I've been actually trying to trade him as we got closer to the Ingram returning, and I think I still have an opportunity now. But and I'm not saying Michael Thomas is gonna just go and be awful, because he did great last year with these guys there the whole year. So please don't get me misunderstood. But I do want you guys to realize that these 18 target, 15 target games, that's not gonna be realistic anymore. I don't see moving forward.
Yeah, you gave me something to think about there. I wasn't even, he's had a couple of off weeks, so to speak. I mean, if you want to call it 12 fantasy points off weeks compared to where he was at the beginning of the year. And remember that our third episode this year, I asked you who was the highest scoring PPR wide receiver. Most people would have thought it would have been Tyreek Hill those 2 ridiculous weeks. It wasn't. It was Michael Thomas. He was just insane for those first couple of weeks, and has been dropping off steadily here the last few weeks. So I wouldn't be opposed to dealing him at all for the right package. And as a matter of fact, now that you mention it, I may start looking for some trade suitors for him, because that makes total sense, especially if Mark Ingram's going to have the kind of game he had last week where he just kind of – and what's going on there, man? So what happens to Kamara now? Because last year they coexisted very well. Do you think they just gave Kamara a little bit of a rest since he's been doing everything the first few weeks, or what happened? I mean, he did not have a good day at all last week.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both, giving Kamara a rest going into the bye week, and also just saying, Mark Ingram's back, and I don't think the team had any worries about this. This is how I took it. I took it as, one thing I was thinking is, Mark Engram going to be the same now that he's not on PEDs anymore? Like, did we just see a Super Saiyan Mark Ingram last year? Is this going to be the same? And, they gave him the ball, fed him, and looked really good to me. Yeah. So I think it was just, we're going to get you back in the swing of things. We're going to give you the ball, show you that we're still here for you. You're still going to be a part of the offense. I don't think there's anything to worry about with Kamara. I think they're still going to both be fantastic fantasy options, 2 guys that you can start together if you have both of them, and they're also going to have great standalone value.
Are you going to put Kamara still as a top 12 running back, still RB1?
Yeah, I still look at him as an RB1. I will say his value does fall for me. He's not a top, 4 or 5 running back for me right now, especially I had a couple of trade offers. People were trying to send me offers, and they were involving Kamara, and he just doesn't have that sparkle like he did for me at first. Okay. He's definitely a guy I would still get, but not nearly as high as I was before.
Absolutely. All right, good deal. Let's go ahead and talk about the Thursday night game coming up. The Thursday night game coming up between Atlanta Falcons and the New York Saquons.
Monday night.
Is that Monday night? I'm sorry. Yes, Monday night. Sorry, not Thursday night. Monday night game coming up against the Saquon Barkleys and Atlanta Falcons. Well, that's all you got in New York right now. That's the only thing you can look forward to, that and whatever tirade that OBJ is going to have on the sideline. I mean, what did the air conditioner do? What did the fan do? The fan was just sitting there.
It must have done the same thing the kicking net did last year. It's just something on that sideline that's just aggravating.
Those inanimate objects just piss him off. You better watch out.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Oh man, I don't know, man. He's got some mental issues, I swear, and that's one of the reasons why at the beginning of the season we were talking about maybe some under the radar moves. We were talking about Corey Latimer there. Because of not only the injury history with both he and Shepard, but also just because OBJ, he's played like this for a while, so perhaps it shouldn't have been something that I was worried about. But this guy, man, he just seems unstable.
Yeah.
And you hear a lot of things, in locker rooms. A lot of things don't get out. Like for instance, I was listening and I was reading a news article last week, or actually this week, about Aaron Hernandez and some of the troubles that he was having, and some of the things and antics he pulled in the locker room that you just don't hear about till a guy's dead or traded or retired or whatever on some 30 for 30, where he was talking about how his mom used to bathe him and breastfeed him, and then he liked to approach you naked and talk about homosexual sex, things of that nature, and however you feel about that. But in a locker room for someone who's not homosexual, why are you standing in front of me with your genitals out? And then these mood swings they said he would have. So from one end he would be like, really insecure, like he's not even sure if he belongs in the NFL. On the other end, he's talking about renting a car, putting you in the back of it, and take you to somewhere, and like that kind of stuff they're talking about. It seems violent sometimes. So you don't hear about some of these things till later on, and I can only imagine what goes on with OBJ and the Giants. But that's another story, another subject for another time. Let's go ahead and talk about the game here. What do you expect to happen?
The two hungry teams, two super hungry teams. You got the 1-5 Saquon Barkley going up against the 2-4 Atlanta Falcons. Man, I actually have points everywhere. I am, I think you can start almost anybody. You obviously can start Saquon. You obviously are going to start your Julio. You're going to start, I think Odell is going to have his big game. I mean, if he can't do it against the Falcons, it might. Right. So I think he's in for a big game. Sterling's in for a big game. I actually, we'll get to this later. I'll just mention it. Eli Manning is one of my starts of the week this week. I love this matchup for him.
I can't do
it. We'll talk about. I got some stats for you. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
The most interesting thing I'm excited to see about in this game, though, is the play calling for Tevin Coleman and Ito Smith. Yeah. Just like we talked about with Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement, how they set up Corey Clement better. I can't wait to see what they do with those two guys.
Yeah, that was something that I wrote down here. We spoke about it last week where Tevin Coleman has not been impressive at all. He has not taken a stranglehold on this running back situation with Freeman being out. And obviously, if you haven't heard yet, which you should have, but if you haven't, Freeman, Devonta Freeman has gone out on IR. He can return this season, but he's at least out for a few weeks, if not longer. So it will be Coleman, so to speak, backfield for a little while longer if he doesn't lose a job to Ito Smith, who at times has looked a lot better than Coleman. We mentioned last week if Coleman didn't get into the end zone, you can't take that away from him, but he was having a horrid day. Very bad day.
Right.
And he's had too many weeks like that where I told you I think he's hurt his value this year more than helped it. It's almost like if he would have taken the year off, he would have been better off than going out here and having a really bad year. I'm interested in seeing what happens here as well.
Yeah, no, that's going to be great to look at. And I think once we see this game and hopefully it'll be kind of a definitive. It won't be definitive. They're gonna split, like we know that. But hopefully we can kind of see who might be the better backer, who's going to get the better play calling. Just to mention in this game, Evan Engram did have a full practice today. They're hopeful for him to play Monday. For your tight end worries. And for the Falcons, both Mohamed Sanu and Calvin Ridley both did not practice today, but Dan Quinn is looking for them to be able to go Monday night.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, that's big for the Atlanta Falcons. Both of those guys are integral parts of the offense. We spoke one time before about New York and how they do against number one receivers for the opposing offenses. They've done pretty well this week, but I see this as a Julio week. Are we calling this as the game he gets into the end zone?
Oh, I would like to say that, but I feel like I'll just keep saying it until he does it. So I hope so.
It'll be true at some point in time.
Yeah. Eventually we'll call it. We'll get it corrected. We will take full credit for calling it.
Absolutely.
But,
we knew it was going to happen, folks.
Yeah. Listen to the show. We told you. No, I think, I hope that he finally gets in this week. I think the Giants are more than capable of a defense for him to get into the end zone, whether he has to catch it in the end zone or run it in, truck a couple people, something. He can. I think he can get it.
Absolutely, yeah. I see. Alshon had a big week last week against them. Had 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Obviously, Alshon has the coordinates and Julio does not. But hopefully, Julio can call Alshon up and he'll share the secret. What about Hooper here? What about Austin Hopper? What is he going to do this week, man?
Yeah, I throw him in there. Hooper, he is proving to be a solid play week after week with the Falcons, and you've got to, if you wanted a juicy matchup for your pass catchers, this is it. You've got to put Hooper in there. I think Hooper, well, we know Hooper knows where the coordinates are, so he's going to get in there.
Maybe he'll share him with Julio. I mean, Julio doesn't have to go to Alshon. He has teammates.
Maybe they'll throw a ball to Hooper, and then in his touchdown celebration, he'll just go tell Julio, hey,
that's where it's at.
This is where you can, this is it. This is right here.
well, Calvin really has effectively, he's holding a secret. He's putting this thing together like it's I don't know, where's Waldo kind of a deal. He's not telling Julio.
All the pass catchers know where it's Mohamed Sanu knows
where
the secret. Ridley knows the secret. Hooper knows the secret. There's just one more guy you guys got to tell. I mean, Ito Smith knows the secret. Like, one more person. Just tell them one more guy.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman gets 35 yards, and he figures it out. I don't know. We're having a little fun with Julio here. It's amazing to see him have all these receptions, be a top. I think it was number 6 after last week, PPR. top 6 receiver in the league, and literally has not scored a touchdown this year. It's pretty amazing, actually. But yeah, I like this game. I like some points in this game. Saquon, obviously, I do think this is the game where you see a big game out of OBJ. I believe your Julio. I think he's going to have a solid game. I mean, you're going to put him out there anyway. The question really is he going to get that touchdown or not? But yeah, I like Hooper as well. Evan Engram should be back. I think he's tracking to play. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not too comfortable rolling Evan Engram out there until I see a little bit more. Hopefully he's healthy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I like Austin Hooper in this game.
Yeah.
You got anything else on
Especially with that?
York?
Yeah, well, just what you were just saying as far as you're not sure about rolling Evan out. Yeah, especially with it being the Monday night game, you happen to wait. And then for you to wait, and he might not play, like
right.
that's too iffy for me. Yeah, so I would just, if there's any concern going into the weekend, you might want to look in that direction.
Good deal. Let's go ahead and talk about some real quick news and notes, injury updates for the people. Then we're going to get into our starts and our sit of the week. I'll start it off here. Looks like the Jets' defensive backfield is in shambles. They're going to be without 3 of their top 5 defensive backs. Tremaine Johnson looks to be out. I look for Thielen and Diggs to have a field day.
Absolutely. If it wasn't already juicy,
it just
got much juicier. Yeah. Yeah. CJ Uzomah was limited at practice yesterday. He's got a shoulder injury. That's definitely just something to monitor. And bigger news, DeAndre Hopkins did not practice today. Oh. The reason that is bigger is because he did practice yesterday. So he's trending in the wrong direction. It's a foot injury. He's had injuries throughout the year that he has played through. So, he might tough it out and might play through, but that is definitely something to look at with D-Hop moving forward.
I actually hadn't heard that particular piece of news, but normally if you're injured, your day to take off is going to be Wednesday. Then you have a limited practice on Thursday. Try to follow up with a limited or a full practice on Friday. If you're missing Thursday and Friday practices, it definitely is not trending well for the week. So we'll see how things go on tomorrow for D-Hop. But if not, Kiki. Kiki, are you rolling Kiki, or are you? What do you think is going to happen here with Houston?
Well, that's another thing that makes it all muddled. Kiki and Will Fuller were both limited Wednesday as well. The only difference is they practiced today also. You got to roll with Kiki.
Okay.
With Will Fuller's hamstring, it's just too iffy to tell. They pulled him out of a Colts game, and then after the game, he said he was fine and he could have played if he wanted to. Well, why didn't he?
Right.
Like, I don't want to hear that as a Will Fuller owner. So, yeah, I would roll with Kiki if D-Hop's not playing, even against the Jaguars. I actually would roll with Kiki even if D-Hop is playing because they're playing the Jaguars, and I think he'll see the least amount of attention.
Absolutely. All right, well, T.Y. Hilton is back at practice. It looks like he's training to try to play this week. Have you heard anything differently about T.Y. Hilton?
No. I heard the same thing. He believes he practiced today as well and is looking good and got off the injury report and is trending upwards to be ready to go Sunday, which is tremendous news for him. It's tremendous news for Andrew Luck owners. He's got his guy back. So that is great.
Yeah, especially it looks like Grant may be out this for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So they really need him back.
Right. And I just wanted to mention this as far as news goes. If you have any of your Titan Charger players and you usually wake up Sunday to do your lineups to put guys in and out, make sure you have your Charger Titan players in or out Saturday night. That game is at 9:30 in the morning. Early. Yeah, unless you're gonna wake up to make your maneuvers, just make sure that's fixed. Also, Derek Morgan for the Titans, their linebacker, will be out a few weeks. So that bodes well for Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler. Derek Morgan kind of holds it down for the linebackers there in Tennessee.
Oh yeah. Gordon's having one heck of an amazing season. Even when I traded for him from you earlier in the year, I'll bring that back up since you threw my 1-5 record out there. No, he's been even better than I could have imagined. I wasn't looking for a top 2, top 3. I was thinking more like 5, 6, 7, but he's definitely being utilized there with the Chargers. So looking good. Fournette didn't practice. Blah blah. Moving on. Evan Engram, we mentioned that already. He's back. Crowder, who was having a really bad season. He was one of the consensus picks to be a breakout this year with Alex Smith, and it just has not come to fruition. He may be out for several weeks. Has this been a lingering issue for Crowder, or could that be possibly a reason he's having an off season, or just kind of a brand new deal for him?
Yeah, I think that might have something to do with it. He's been dealing. I don't know if it's been this injury particular. I would say it is, since it's a sprained ankle. I feel like it may just have been getting worse and worse and worse, and now that's why he's out for a few weeks. But I know he has been dealing with injuries coming to the season. He was dealing with a couple of injuries last year as well. So, that receiving core is already not particularly exciting.
Oh, gosh.
They're bringing up Jehu Chesson. If that's a guy you want to look at, Jehu Chesson.
The only pass
catcher
that
name out there.
Yeah, I want to talk about is Jordan Reed and Chris Thompson. And you can't even really count Chris Thompson as a pass catcher.
Right.
He's more of a pass catcher than any of the wide receivers there.
Yeah.
And I know Paul Richardson had a decent game, but, there's no consistency at all. I'm staying completely.
And he's hurt.
He's hurt. Okay.
He got his knee re-examined today. I don't think he practiced. I think he went and got his knee looked instead.
Oh, so, wow.
They're it's rough over there.
It's looking bad in Washington. Good deal. Cooper Kupp, he looks like he's going to be out for a couple of more weeks with that knee injury. He went out last week on a cart, happened to return, which is great, but just wasn't the same. They're going to keep him out and play it cautious with him, especially since Woods and Cooks can certainly shoulder the load there. Who's going to take his spot? Are you still thinking Reynolds going to be the best?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Josh Reynolds is going to slide in there. I like Josh Reynolds. I think he actually could be a sneaky play if you're looking for a receiver. There's obviously better options, but if you're just looking for a guy to throw in, maybe you're on bye week or something, I think Josh Reynolds can have a sneaky good game.
Good deal. Do you have anything else for news and notes?
Dalvin Cook didn't practice today. Nothing really that new. TJ Yeldon did practice today. He set out yesterday. He did practice today. And one thing I want to mention, just for any guys that have Kerryon Johnson, Theo Riddick did not practice. And I know nobody has Theo Riddick, so that's why I'm not telling you for the Theo Riddick people. Just for Kerryon Johnson, you can maybe look towards him maybe more in the passing game, because even if they're going to use Blunt, they're obviously not going to pass it to him.
Yeah, that may have been under the radar there, man. You should have saved that for later on.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Got to use my segments better.
No, I think if you had that one now, you're under the radar later on here in a minute. Must be awesome. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and jump into our starts and our sit so we can get to under the radar and try to do this in 10 minutes. We got the game coming on. I've been on for coming up close to an hour, so want to get the good people out of here. I will start no, you know what? I started the other segment. You go ahead with your quarterback.
Already alluded to him. Eli Manning is my start of the week. I like Eli Manning. The Falcons are giving up the third most passing yards per game. Now, really quick, I'm going to give you some names. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, Cam Newton, Trubisky. They all have one thing in common. So
they're all better than Eli Manning. That's what they
that is true. But as far as statistics go, all of them have less passing yards than Eli this year. Now, some of them did have a bye week. I get that. So I don't want you to think I'm inflating stats. even those people that had the bye week are still behind Eli by 300 to 500 yards. And I don't really see one, it's more than one game's worth. So Eli's just not getting the touchdowns aren't there, and I think that he can get quite a few this game against the Falcons.
Yeah. If there's a game where he can have a good game, I would say it would be against one of these softer defenses like the Falcons or Steelers or whatever. I still can't do it though. I wouldn't roll him out there. But hey, listen, if you may be the one that called it, so we'll see how it works out next week for him. Good deal. I have Jared Goff against the San Francisco 49ers. They've been getting torched in the air by every quarterback they've played. Goff has been.
Oh, you owe your 49ers an apology.
Why? For what?
They played?
Oh yeah, they played okay. They were competitive. And I said that the 49ers are going to play. Okay, I was a little double-minded. I said they were going to get demolished, and they didn't get demolished. But I said they're going to keep it respectable. I may have been actually speaking with another person, but I said they always play hard. They always have a few plays a game. We're saying, okay, where we can see where they're doing okay. I think I was actually talking to a workmate of mine. So you're correct. I do owe them a bit of an apology here because on the show I said they were going to get demolished, and they were certainly in that game. As a matter of fact, they may have been a poor play call away from maybe even winning. It was 3rd and 3 or 4th and 3, I think, and they threw a bomb, way down the field when getting 2 yards or getting 3 yards and maybe going for it on 4th down would have done just fine. I don't know what the idea was, and maybe they're trying to surprise them. But yes, the 49ers did play a lot better than we were thinking, and I'm happy they did because I needed Devontae Adams to be involved all game long, and he was. And I got 30 points in one of my week. Thanks, Devontae, and thank you, A-Rod. Anyhow, Jared Goff is going to demolish the 49ers. The Rams will demolish the 49ers. I'm right now. This is not being double-minded. I don't think they're going to fare well against the Rams at all. And we don't have time to really jump into this game. But what do you think this is going to be a closer game than we think?
No, I don't think so. But I wouldn't have called the Packers game the way it went either. So, but I think the Rams do what they always do. I think the difference that the Rams have really quickly is Todd Gurley, and I'll just
and a stout run defense, unlike Green Bay, who was middling. Good deal. All right, who's your running back, man?
Running back star of the week is Marlon Mack. I think he's going to continue to prove that he's the bell cow back moving forward for the Colts. First game back, he had 12 carries for 89 yards. They have no trouble with bringing him back into the offense, going against a Bills defense that has good pass defense. It's not terrible against the run, but it's not as elite. So I think Marlon Mack is a good play.
Yeah, you're going with some obscure plays here today. I like it. CMC for me. I think he's going to have a wonderful day against the Eagles again, like I mentioned before, averaging 4.7 yards per carry. He is the man there. If you don't know, which you probably do, I'm not giving you a hot take here. There's no split. There's no split whatsoever. He's getting in one game. He got 100% of the carries. I didn't see that coming when they brought in. I forgot his name. I'm
T.J. Anderson.
T.J. Anderson, right. I didn't see that coming at all. I really saw, Anderson being kind of the smashing back like John Stewart, and then they would bring CMC in for your 3rd down and take a couple series. That has not happened, and he's been having a wonderful season. Definitely an RB1. I see CMC having a big game against the Eagles. Who do you got for your wide receiver?
Absolutely. Kenny Golladay for the Detroit Lions. I like him. 3 touchdowns in his last 5 games. He's had double-digit points every game. He's only, in PPR, he's only had less than 16 points one time so far this year. He's averaging 10.4 yards per target. So Kenny Galladay's a great play this week.
Absolutely. I got Stephon Diggs. Again, I mentioned to you guys earlier. The Jets are without a lot of their defensive backfield. Thielen, I believe, is going to do what he's been doing. I don't think he's going to have a great day as well, but I see that Stephon Diggs stepping up and having a good game. I do actually have George Kittle for my tight end. Someone's going to have to catch the ball. Someone's going to have to do something for San Francisco, and I see him being the one who can get open against the Rams, who, if you want to call their soft spot, it would be their passing defense. Talib's going out, and they haven't quite been the same since he's been out. So I think Kittle should have a decent game.
Yeah, no, I like him. I originally had Evan Engram, but as we talked and you kind of made me think about it, it is Monday night. It is his first game back, so I won't necessarily say him. I will go with, instead, O.J. Howard with Tampa Bay. He's back. He was used a lot more than I expected him to be used with Jameis. I was expecting more of a Cameron Brate, which we may still see. But going against the Cleveland Browns, I think O.J. can have a great game.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, though, and no, I'm certainly with you on that. No doubt, O.J. Howard's been having a great season regardless of quarterback. But didn't last week Brate still had a touchdown catch, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he had a touchdown, but he also...
I mean, Jameis is not letting his boy go without a touchdown in the game.
No. By no means am I saying it was Brate out, but the touchdown was Brate's only catch. That's my only... Yeah, that was my only thing. It was more targets going to her. I think OJ had four catches to Brate's one. Granted, his one was a touchdown.
Good deal, absolutely. Who's your defense?
Vikings going against the Jets. Jets is dealing with injuries with Quincy Enunwa. Isaiah Crowell didn't practice today. Robbie Anderson did return, but it's just a lot of things going on with those Jets on offense. The Vikings defense, I know they haven't looked it so far this year. I still think they're one of the top defenses. They're still great, and they're more than capable to shut down Sam Darnold.
Absolutely. I got the Lions versus Dolphins. Every week I keep saying the Dolphins' offense is just horrible. They did have a few big plays last week from Albert Wilson. I don't see that happening again. I think the Lions have a good game against the Dolphins. Who is your sit of the week?
Man, won't have to get too deep into this because I don't even know if people are still holding on to him. But if you are, Mariota is my sit of the week. You would think against the Chargers this is normally a nice matchup, but it's an early game. You know, I don't know how that's going to affect Mariota, and you just need more out of that offense entirely.
Right.
Mariota's just not playing well. Unfortunately, the one good game he had was against my Eagles.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. My sit of the week, and we may have a little bit of a differing opinion here. I think you said you think Jordan Howard is going to have a game this week. I have a totally different opinion. Pats have been good against the running backs. We've seen Jordan Howard trending downward the last few weeks, so I will be sitting Jordan Howard here certainly.
Yep. No, I think it can go either way. I'm not too high on him. So yeah, I'm kind of actually with you, regardless of what I said earlier.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're coming to the end of the show. We got one more quick segment for you guys. I know we've been going for over an hour. Let's go ahead and knock out our under the radar of the week. Who do you have?
Yeah, Josh Reynolds, we talked about him earlier, just with the Cooper Kupp injury. I think, like I said, if you're looking for a receiver, I think Josh Reynolds can be a sneaky play. It's a good offense. When you have a good offense, you want a piece of it. So I think Josh Reynolds can be a good sneaky play.
Yeah, I like Josh a whole lot as well. If he's taking that Cooper Kupp role, and again, they're going to be going up against San Francisco 49ers, so that should be easy for him. My under the radar of the week is Willie Snead. He's been coming on as of late. And this may be one of the reasons you're not seeing so much out of Buck Allen, those shorter passes that Buck Allen were catching. And sometimes they put Buck Allen actually in the slot I believe Willie Snead is coming on and is building that rapport with Flacco and possibly taking some of those targets away. And he's had 3 usable fantasy weeks, all about 11 points per week. But this is a revenge game for Willie Snead against his old team, the Saints. And I think he will certainly show up and show out for the people. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I like Willie Snead in this game a lot. He's more than capable of doing it against the Saints, like you said, a revenge game. Saints poor defense. Yeah, and I think I agree with everything you said. The whole Buck Allen targets are going towards him, everything. Yeah, I like Willie Snead. I wish I could have sniped you on that one because that's a really good one.
Absolutely. Well, that's the end of the show, folks. We want to thank you once again for coming out and listening with us. We again want to encourage you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment. And as usual, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Dave, do you have anything else for the people tonight?
Enjoy your football. Enjoy your weekend.
Absolutely. We're signing off. Have a good night.